Hey YouTube, I'm glad to be here. I am glad to be sharing with you guys some information about my journey. If you clicked on this video, then you want to know more information about becoming a marriage and family therapist. So I am at the end of my degree program, literally a week and a half away from being finished with my program. I'm in my internship, finishing my hours. And I am so excited to be done and moving on to the licensing part, which I take in 2 weeks. It's 2 to 3 weeks. I take my National Marriage and Family License exam. So I just kind of wanted to give you guys a few things that I wish I would have known and like kind of like some stuff that will be helpful for you on your journey. And I'm just going to tell you to get out a piece of pen, piece of paper, get out a piece of paper and pencil so that you can jot this stuff down or feel free to come back to the video later, rewind it. Number one, if you are in your, let's say your undergrad program and you're like, hey, I want to get my master's in counseling, maybe you're majoring in psychology or whatever. First of all, you do not have to major in psychology to become a counselor. I majored in sociology, which is very similar but different. Sociology is the study of human behavior in a community base, and sociology is more like the study of the mind and the people behavior. Um, and so, like individually. So it's very similar but different, but you don't even have to, you can get like a business degree in undergrad. You don't have to get a degree in counseling. Actually, I would suggest like more of like marketing, do like, I don't know. That's just my opinion because no matter what you do in life, definitely if have like a skill that you're trying to like, um, you find yourself being more of like an entrepreneur or you want to use your skill to do something, um, you know, marketing is going to be a big part of that. So advertising and marketing is something I wish I would have maybe gone into as undergrad again. It doesn't matter now, but I'm just naturally good at that type of stuff. So I'm just telling you from my perspective, but you can get your undergrad degree in anything. So that's fine. Number two, you do want to look for a COAMFTE accredited school. Now, there are some little stipulations there. So COAMFTE accredited is the certification board for schools that will prepare a student the most to become marriage and family therapists, and they kind of like go through accreditation. I went to a school that was CACREP accredited, which is the accreditation you need to go to make sure that you can get your professional license, like licensed professional counselors. I went to a CACREP accredited, but it was not COAMFTE accredited. Um, th- there's not a lot of big difference. In my opinion, uh, I don't see the difference because I personally think that you can do the same thing with an LPC that you can do with a LMFT. And I went to a school that specialized in LPC, that like most people graduate with their LPC, very few graduate with their LMFT. But I had a master's in science, specialized in a master's in science and counseling, specialized in marriage, couple, and family therapy, which that was my trajectory. So when I started to, as I'm in my program, I am doing the license in marriage and family therapy exam for to become associate. I'm not doing the LPC associate exam. So that was my journey, and I will eventually. I honestly think I'll do the LPC exam just because I have that. Like that's my school did a little bit of both. It did LPC, it did the marriage and family stuff all so I can do both, you know. So that was to me the benefit of going to a CACREP accredited school that, you know, kind of like prepared you for the LPC. There's a lot of theories that LPCs go through that maybe marriage and family don't. And I've heard people come out of those marriage and family co-opted accredited schools focusing on LMFT that don't know the LPC theories and they have to like educate themselves on these theories and they're brand new to them. And so a lot of the theories that I'm studying, I heard at some point in my program. So go to Coampty Accredited if you want to become a licensed marriage and family therapist, but also know that when you're studying for your exam, there may be some theories that you have never heard of, depending on what school you go to. But like I said, as of right now in 2023, you can go to a K-CREPT school, but just let them know that you want to become a licensed marriage and family therapist. And if they're like, well, you should become an LPC that specializes in marriage and family therapist, that's like y'all can do the same thing. It's like it's all about it's just a title. It really is. It's just a difference in the title. Do you want to be titled licensed marriage and family therapist, which licensed marriage and family therapists do focus in on marriage and family theories, like family systems and theories, and that's different than individual, right? So LPCs can do couples and individuals. Marriage and family therapists can do individuals too. Like I said, they're just, it's almost like a title. Of, um, it's just the weight of information. So you get, as an LMFT, you're weighted way more on the marriage and family side theories than you are on individual, but you know them. You can do that. You're trained in that as well. So like I said, it's just all about a title. Honestly, I'm like, LPCs that specialize in marriage and family, licensed marriage and family therapists that need to do individuals. Like there's some gray area there. It's like overlap for sure. So that's just a little bit that's one. That's two. Um I am think about now, like let's just think about if you're just now getting into your program, think about where you want to do your internship now. And also know your state requirements. I know that's like way down the line for y'all that are not even in the program, or maybe you're just starting. But the sooner that you can prepare for this season that I'm in, the better it's going to help because you're going to have to get your hours. Your hours are going to be your barrier to completion or not, depending on how well you prepare. Because of the amount of hours that you need, direct and indirect, it's going to require you to maneuver your life around a lot. So for me, I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm not a college student, like I'm not your typical college student that's like that doesn't have any responsibilities. I have a lot of responsibilities, a business. I'm changing careers. So this is for me, it was a huge shift. Like I had a media business and I'm shifting to marriage and family there. Like that's a huge pivot, right? It's a huge pivot. So my whole life within the last year went through a massive shift that required me to be like, oh my God, I sacrificed quite a bit. My husband and I are doing this together. We're doing this together. So we both are going through this massive shift in our careers. And that can either work for your benefit or it can be very difficult if you are not prepared. Do I think I was prepared? I feel like I was as prepared as I could be, y'all. Like I was prepared as I could be. And start looking now, like think about where you want to do your internship. Start looking at either if it's is it an agency, do you want to do your hours at a private practice? The difference between an agency and a private practice, let me just tell y'all, agency like CPS or some state government funded nonprofit, this is the pro. You probably won't have a problem finding in like direct client hours. There are overabundance of direct client hours in agencies um, and any agency nonprofit that is like funded, like well funded. They have more than enough clients for you to see. Like, you know, any organization that is serving the homeless, serving um, um, uh, domestic violence victims, serving children with abuse, CPS, like I said, any of those type of agencies, um, they will have more than enough clients for you to get your direct hours. On the flip side, if you guys decide to go into private practice, while it's cute and you probably won't have a lot of heavy cases, um, it's sometimes hard to get your hours. And I have my current um, group that I'm a part of, there are a couple students in my class that are not able to graduate because they were not able to get their hours because they are doing their hours at a private practice. So it's a little bit different. Private practice is a little bit harder to get your hours at a private practice than it is at a a place that is like an agency. So that's a thing. Um, the other thing is, let me see here. So the other thing about working at agencies that I just want you guys to prepare for if you're preparing for your internship is, you know, be prepared to have heavy self-care. You know, as an intern, you're gonna get like the heavy cases. Some of these, definitely if you work for like a DV shelter, child abuse, homeless, whatever, you're gonna find a lot of people dealing with like psychosis and depression, and some of these things are hard to hear. And I did my internship at a DV shelter, and I realized that my heart has grown for this population, but I cannot do it every day, like all day. I can't do this population every day, all day. It's heavy, y'all. It's heavy. So be like really, really on self-care. Like just increase your self-care as much as you possibly can. Okay. Just make sure you increase your self-care as much as you possibly can. That is going to be to your benefit. What else? So, um, what type of school should you go to? Just make sure they're Columbia accredited. It doesn't matter if it's an online school or not. Um, I'm gonna tell you this. I've talked to all types of students in both um online schools and offline schools. In my opinion, you're going to get prepared to be a counselor, but the exam, studying for that national exam, is going to show you so much more than what, like, all the information that you have jumbled into your head to finish like the class. No, the exam is what you really need. That's what how they determine if you are going to be a good clinician or not. So spend a lot of time on that. I went to AATBS .com through their program for studying for the exam. I love it. I'm doing the version where it's all online because I needed something that I could pull up on multiple places. And when I have books, I find myself carrying on like a ton of books. I didn't want to buy a whole bunch of books. I'm going to create my own flashcards because I only want to focus on the things that I know that I need help in. So that's in writing it down. It helps me too. But then you get some practice tests. I signed up for both of the courses, critical thinking, and there's another course that is just specifically for MST, and it goes over critical thinking and the content of what's going to be on the exam. It shows you how to take the exam. There's like so many resources that you get from AATBS. So I highly suggest them as a study guide. I know they say marriage and family therapy exam is a hard exam. And I see that because you have to memorize so many family theories and keywords and key terms. It can just be very difficult if you're not ready. So I am currently in the thick of studying for my marriage and family exam. So I'll tell you guys how that go. I'm praying I pass. I take it in a couple weeks. I pray I pass, and I'm done with that. So I did it. I did it at the like right after graduation. So like my program is done on the 7th of May, and I take my exam on the 16th of May. Now, most people, they finish school and then they prepare for their exam. I decided I just wanted everything to be done. Like, I just want to be done with this whole thing. I was like, done with this whole thing. After graduation, I take my exam and boom, I will become a licensed marriage and family associate. Now, after I graduate, I'll be a marriage and family therapist, right? Marriage and family therapist. I already have like I think I have like 5 positions that I'm kind of um like 5 positions in front of me that I am looking at. I've interviewed and I have to choose between these 5 positions. Listen, counseling is in a high demand. They need a there you will have a job. Like trust me, you're gonna have a job and you're gonna do just fine. But be prepared for that because I got to make a decision. I've already made a decision on one place, it's kind of virtual, and then I got to make a decision on another place that will allow me to get my like Texas hours because it's a whole nother conversation. But just don't be afraid to start building those relationships. You're going to need a licensed marriage and family therapist supervisor. So find out in your state who is the supervisor, who is board certified as a LMFT supervisor. Because while you can use it, pretty much anybody that's board certified as in clinical for your internship, um, you have to have an LMFT supervisor for you after you graduate to get your fully licensed. That's how it is in Texas. Again, every state is different. Just make sure you know your state. In Texas, here we have to have an LMFT supervisor that will help like sign off on our hours so we get fully licensed in a few years. And you can I learned the other day you can't get fully licensed before 2 years, but you can launch your practice. You can launch your practice after you get licensed as an associate. So I'm happy about that because that is definitely what we plan to do. Um, let's see what else. Um, I would just say like pace yourself. Don't feel rushed, like self-care, like all of it. And find ways that you can apply some of these principles to your own life because I think that helps you some of the things stick a little bit better. Some of the theories stick a little bit better. Like since I'm also married and I have kids and I have a family, a lot of the theories in marriage and family therapists as a therapy really were applicable in our situation. Like we kind of like use some of that to help our own family, be better. And so I definitely think that we grew just by going through the counseling program. So I don't know if you guys have like any specific questions. I guess this is gonna be part one, and I can answer any specific questions anybody might have about the journey, master's program. I did like one class at a time because, like I said, I'm married and have kids, and I had like a whole business. So I didn't pile on like 10 to 12 hours trying to finish my degree in a few years. Me and husband literally took one class at a time. And then at the end, we took like two classes. Like right now, I'm in internship and pharmaceutical. So I'm doing both of those. But yeah, I did not um, decide to rush through the program. I decided to just take my time, and I think that I'm glad I did. Fun fact, we started our program years ago in 2020, I think it was, and we didn't know when we were going to finish. We just knew we wanted to take our time, one class at a time. And our graduation is happening to fall on our 10-year wedding anniversary. Woo! So did not plan it like that. We were just like, what a way to celebrate 10 years of marriage by becoming marriage and family therapists. Like, wow, that could only be God, right? Only God could have planned it that way because we totally didn't. We didn't plan it out. We didn't like, we gotta take it like this. No, we was just like, okay. And then our counselor was like, oh, y'all could be done in 2023. She told us that last year. I was like, oh, that's our 10 years. So that worked out. Anyway, like I said, you guys have any questions? I don't want this to be too long. Just wanted to share some things that I learned or things that would have helped me on my journey. Congratulations on your journey. I know you're going to make it great. I'm going to try to help you guys as much as I can because I'm going to tell you, I hit a couple roadblocks and I was just like, what is this? Help, somebody help. So yeah, let me know what you thought. Have a good one.